later, but I just welcome everyone. Thank you for being here. And if you don't already have your camera on, I encourage you to start moving in that direction. Um, I am really excited about this group specifically. And so welcome because if you've been with me over the years, you know that this self-mastery program started out as a self-care course only years and years ago. And then it became more robust, became a full-on digital course and online course with a workshop. And then it evolved, and that was just the 5 pillars of self-care. And then it evolved into two parts where there was the self-care course, and then the second part was the care system. And the care system got more into like, who are you? And getting to know yourself so that you can make decisions for your own, um, for yourself through asking and learning, like, what does my intuition sound like? What does my inner wisdom sound like? We talk a lot about empowerment in the second part of this mastery class. And we talk about how to become emotional resilient because I invite you to start feeling your emotions in a way that might have felt like foreign or scary. And so then we evolved into like, okay, so now that we're feeling all this stuff, Kate, what do I do with this? How do I not let it take over my life? Or how do I navigate feeling, but not having the feelings take over? And so, and then we talk about confidence and ultimately embodying all the things that you've learned. Because if you just come on these calls once a week for the next 12 weeks and you listen, you will definitely learn some things for sure. But if you do not become an active participant in what we're doing and implement it into your life and take action, it'll be like you've read a book that you learned a lot of stuff from, but you haven't really embodied it. And when we do that, we actually create more dissonance and more disconnection from ourselves because we know better, but we're not doing better. And that creates a lot of resistance and conflict within ourselves. And so I'm going to encourage you and motivate you and create accountability for you to show up for yourself. If you remember, I'm about pushing the easy button in life, and I'm going to support you in how you get to do that. It doesn't mean that it doesn't require effort, but we don't have to work so hard. And my intention for this entire mastery program, again, is to find out what your natural strengths and abilities are, what you enjoy, what comes easy to you, and do those things because this is about sustainability. This program is about implementing things into your life every single day. Every day you're going to do this, every day. And we know curveballs are going to come because they always do. That's the reason we do this for 3 months, because you can do anything for 4 weeks, pretty much. I mean, the end of the month is coming, and many people have already started January 1st with new habits, new goals, new behaviors that they wanted, and they're coming to the end of that goal or that habit, because usually we bite off more than we can chew. We want to, oh, I want to start working out. Great, I'm going to go to the gym every day for an hour. Okay, well, how long does it take you to get to the gym? How long does it take you to get home? So let's factor that in. So we're really at like an hour and a half. If you've got an important meeting, if you're traveling, if something comes up in your life, you've got sick kids, whatever it is, the first thing you're going to drop is that hour and a half. So my intention and goal for you is we've custom designed self-care blueprints for all of you for your self-mastery program. And it's what you're choosing to do in your life every single day, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and socially, because your relationships matter every single day. And if you've not, you've all received an email, and most of you have scheduled your one-on-one, but not all of you have. And so if you would go back, we need to get that scheduled sooner than later. If you're back here and you've been here before, you might already have this down and say, you know what, Kate, I'm just going to tweak my self-mastery blueprint that I've already created. I've learned enough. I feel like I know enough to be able to do that. And you and I can just check in. So whatever works best for you. But again, I'm just grateful that you're here. Self-mastery is my passion. The last decade of my life, I've used and still use all of the tools I'm going to teach you. I left a really high demand religion and got divorced at the same time. And my life turned upside down, and I didn't really know who I was, what I wanted in my life. My mind was an absolute wreck. I hated my ex-husband. I was in a victim mindset, and I was just spinning, stuck in the same cycle, and I didn't know how to get out of it. And so what I've created over the last decade with the self-mastery program is what I did to get myself out of it, but not only get myself out of it, to live a life that I'm really thriving and enjoying my life, and I'm healthy and I'm happy. And um, I have a 12-year-old, and 2 years ago, it had been 10 years since I had been to the doctor, had not been in 10 years. And of course, they're calling me and saying, hey, you need to come in. The insurance company was like, hey, it's been a while since you've had a checkup. You should really get into uh, your doctor's office. And so I thought, you know what, I'm going to go. And this is the interesting thing that happens. I had this moment where I was feeling totally healthy, great and wonderful. And then I thought, what if I have cancer? What if I've been neglecting myself for 10 years and I'm in denial and there's something actually going on? So it was really interesting because I went into the doctor's office like this could go either way. I'm really not sure. I feel good, but people feel good and things happen. And walked in, sat down with him. It had been, like I said, 10 years. And he did all of the things. And then after, he said, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. And I haven't been back in 2 years since. So it's working, right? And a lot of the problems that we're experiencing in our lives come from it. We create them. And so my program is going to teach you how to navigate this. It's going to teach you how to notice when things happen sooner than later and make pivots and adjust faster so that you don't get in that spiral and it's days later that you're coming out of it. You're going to expect all of the things in your life that are happening to still come to you and in your life, but the way that you face them and how you navigate them is going to be different. So I'm here to help you get clarity on all of those parts and what works for your daily routine and how it works. And with your self-mastery blueprint, we've created a hypothetical blueprint of what you want to do every single day for your physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and social self-care. When you start practicing that, and that's why we do it in the program, that's why we start it from the very beginning, because it gives you time. You might want to tweak things. You might have thought, oh, Kate, I really wanted to do this one thing, but it turns out I'm not loving it. It feels like I'm dreading it every day, or it's not actually lighting me up, or you find like that was too easy. I was already doing this and it really didn't take that much effort for me to add one more day into it. I'd like to give myself a little bit more of a challenge. And then many of you, we created a bonus. So, there's something that you're doing consistently every day, but there's a bonus, right? I know Kristen, for example, for one of her social self-care, I believe it was social, Kristen, we talked about her nourishing her relationship with her partner. And so her bonus is a date night once a week. So give yourselves an opportunity to add one thing, if it's like a once a week thing, to some of your pillars as a bonus. The intention with this program is for you to get wins. Okay? You need wins. Our brain needs wins. We are failing every day, all day, and we are criticizing ourselves all day, every day. I didn't do enough. I could have done more. It's the natural default, the subconscious, which we'll talk about in a couple of weeks and how it works. The subconscious is really, really critical. It's the reptilian brain. It's survival. It's not evolved. And so that Mindset is going to get you in criticism and guilt and all of that stuff. And so when we give ourselves wins, we get those natural endorphins, dopamine hits, the good stuff that we love. It's a celebratory. You go from feeling like ick to awesome. And so I want you to win as much as possible. So if you ever feel like, Kate, this feels like a little too easy, great, crush it. Get the win. Let your brain get the win. And understand that there's a methodology and why we're doing this, and you winning is really important. It's a huge part of it. So I'd rather give you stuff that feels a little bit easier so you can get wins every single day than you feeling like this program's too hard for me. Any of you ever participated in or familiar with 75 Hard? Have y'all heard of it? I hate that program. I hate it. Here's why. It's not sustainable. First of all, it is not sustainable. People get results. They diet hard, they work out hard, they do a lot of stuff that's hard, okay? But it is not sustainable. So they do all this work for 75 days, they get the body they want, they get the whatever they want, they're feeling awesome. I have talked to dozens of people who have done the program. 2 months after the program's over, they're already gaining the weight back and they feel like crap because here they are in the same cycle they've been in. My intention for you is that it's not hard, and this is something that you can sustain, whether you're traveling, whether you have sick kids at home, whether you've got a big presentation for a conference, whatever it is in your life, whatever you've got going on, I want you to win. So that is my intention for you. And again, I'm just so grateful that you're here. I'm proud of you for being here. It means you're ready to invest in yourself. It means you're saying yes to creating a more fulfilled life. And it means you're done taking breadcrumbs and believing that choosing you is selfish. How many of you have felt like when you choose yourself, it's selfish, or like, you have to sacrifice something in order to choose yourself? Anyone? Right? Let's just let that go because that is an old belief that does not work. I was with a couple of you earlier this week, and we were drawing on a whiteboard, and we did a diagram of a cup, right? And there's this thing about, here's your cup. And if your cup is on empty, if your cup is depleted, that's going to have a ripple effect on the people that live in your home. And it's going to have a ripple effect on the people you do business with, and it's going to have a ripple effect on everyone in your life. Because when you are not filled and your cup is not full, you do not have the bandwidth or the capacity to hold space for someone when they are not well or when their cup is empty. You get triggered, you're frustrated, you're like, ugh, I don't have time for this. Have you ever done that? You're like, not now, I don't have time for this, right? Like, I don't have time for this. But when your cup is full and someone walks in and they want to dump something on you, whether it's a kid having a emotional thing or a client that's not, in a great place, or maybe it's your spouse or your partner who's just like, I'm struggling. When you aren't full, you take it personally. You take it on. But when you're full, you're like, I am filled up. I can just hold this right here. And so that's a lot of what we're going to talk about and why it matters. When you fill yourself up, you have more energy, more happiness, more health, more peace. And that's huge because that is when you can actually transform and change your life, because instead of being in survival mode, you're in a place that you're like thriving and you can level up. Okay. So before we get too deep into this, let me tell you a couple of things that you can expect, okay, from this program, and where we're going. We will meet every Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. on Zoom, cameras on, ready to engage and participate and do the work. You will get out of this program what you put into it. Part of you choosing you is choosing to have your camera on and being fully here and fully present, not only for yourself, but for the group, for the community. And this is you filling you up. You've invested, you've said yes, so show up. How you do one thing is how you do everything in life. I'm going to repeat that. How you do one thing is how you do everything in life. So how you show up for yourself and your commitments and how you show up for this program will have a ripple effect on how you show up for everything else in your life. So commit to yourself, make yourself a priority. Set aside the time, turn your alarms off, silence your phone. Listen, you can multitask. We all do that every day, all day. We're really good at it. This program is about you and you and you and you and you and you and you. And even the practice of shutting off the outside noise for this call, for this program once a week, will have major benefits. Major, major. So give yourself permission to be here fully engaged and participating to doing the work. You'll get out of it what you put into it. Okay. You have calendar invites for every week for Zoom with the link. I sent you a little reminder this morning. And if that was helpful, happy to continue to do that. I want to set you up for success. I want to push the easy button for you. Some people might see that as I'm hand holding. Great. I'm hand holding with you. I got you. I'm holding your hand. White glove experience. I want you to have the VIP easy button for all of this. So just check your calendar. And if you don't see those calendar invites, let's make sure I have your right best address, that's email address that's connected to your folder or to your calendar. Same Zoom link each week. This 12 weeks, I'm asking you to commit to daily self-care. Okay. Again, you're going to get derailed. You're going to get curveballs. When you do, within 48 hours, I want you to reach out to me. And I want you to say, hey, Kate, lifeline. I'm your lifeline. Okay. You all get that. That's part of this program. I'm here for you. Fully invested, time, energetically, supportive, here for it. Don't wait. We want to rewire your brain. We want to pivot as quickly as possible. There is no shame in this. Zero shame. This is a shame-free zone, guilt-free zone. We are in an experience where you are the observer of yourself. You are watching your behaviors, you're watching your habits, you're observing yourself. And then when that curveball comes, you go, okay, here it is. We expected it. Great. Now what am I going to do with it? I'm going to see if I can pivot on my own. I'm going to try this out. If I cannot resolve that within 48 hours, I'm reaching out to Kate. Let me support you. Okay. I love audio messages. You all know this. I love an audio message. Audio message me. I'll get it. I'll respond to you, and I'm here for it. During this process, you get 3 one-on-one calls with me. So we do the first one to customize your self-mastery blueprint. So Zadra and Rob, I want to get with you too. And then we'll have another one-on-one kind of in the middle of this, okay? When we switch from the 5 pillars and we get into like getting to know yourself, this is really fun. If you haven't already done this, I have 4 different assessments that I love to use to help you get to know yourself. Why does it matter? Because when you know yourself better than anyone else does, you can make decisions from a place of confidence. Everyone's always going to have an opinion about how you should live your life, what you should do, how you should do it. We are so good at taking advice. But if you've ever noticed that you've gotten to a place where you feel like it's almost there, like it almost feels like it's a hell yes, it almost feels like 100%, but like there's just a little something off, that piece that's off is you making it 100% yours. So we're going to do that. So in between these 2 processes of these 5 pillars of self-mastery and then the care system, we're going to have a one-on-one call, okay? And you and I will check in, we'll pivot, I'll support you where you needed it, whatever, and then we'll have another one toward the end as well. So you get 3 one-on-one coaching calls. You're also, everyone, this is a big deal. You're all going to get a graduate certificate of completion if you show up for 80%. Okay, that means on the calls with your camera on, showing up. If you own a business and you live in Utah, you can apply for a reimbursement for this program because there's a certification and it is an investment in an executive. It's how do they word it? I'll send it to you. Bobby's going to send this to all of you. But if you're in Utah and you're an executive and you invest in a life coaching program that there's a certification for, which we check all those boxes, you can get up to 40% reimbursed for the self-mastery program and any work you do with me. So if you decide, you know what, I'd actually like to start doing some one-on-one coaching with you, Kate, let's get that dialed in and let's get you credit and reimbursement for that. I love that Utah's doing that. I just learned this. And so My Strong World has already been qualified for that platform. We've been working on it the last month. The other thing that's a big bonus is you're going to have access to the client portal. You all should have received an email within the last couple of days from Bobby with this information about this client portal. You'll get a login and a password. If you've already done the program or any self-mastery with me, you have access to this portal. If you've forgotten your login information, you can just message Bobby back and just say, hey, will you help me reset this? And she will. But you get a login and a password. Here's why that matters. When we're on these calls, we're going to do a check-in, and I'm going to touch on the subject or the module for the week for about 20 minutes, 20, 30 minutes, okay? In this portal, there is a module for each of these weeks that you can go through and dive deeper. These things are great to do on your own. It's great to do with your partner. It's great to practice with someone in your life, but it's going to take you even deeper. So for example, when we get into the module about mental self-care and your mind, I'm going to take you through processes and different things that I do, and it's layers deep. So again, you can choose how much of that you want to dive into, but if you would like to, every single week, there's additional support in the portal. There's also the digital self-mastery course in that portal, which goes through each of those 5 pillars and will ask you deeper questions. You can go deeper. So use that portal. That is where each of the recordings will be. I'm gonna, there's some meditations that you can listen to. There's just a lot of information there, and it's a wealth of knowledge. So take advantage. Any questions before we move on? Okay, so this program is designed to be a comprehensive approach to your personal self. There's no one size fits all, and it's as unique as you are. This is why we customized that self-mastery blueprint for you. And so know that, again, we're learning, you're learning, and we know where you've been, and we're really navigating where you want to go. And that mastery blueprint is that roadmap, and it requires action. So the tools are there, the resources are here, the information, the knowledge, it's all here, it's all available to you, and it's up to you to take action. So part of that is radical accountability, okay? With radical accountability, it involves taking full responsibility for your actions, your decisions, and your consequences without making excuses or assessing blame to external factors. Now, radical accountability is big because it's easy to blame every circumstance and anything that happens in your life. And I'm here to tell you that that's why you're not getting where you are, where you want to go. Because in order to get where you really want to go, you have to be radically accountable and you have to let go of the excuses. It is totally normal and perfectly fine to notice and witness your energy level and go, gosh, I'm just don't have a lot of energy today. That's okay. But when it becomes an excuse for why you aren't doing all these things, that's where you need to pivot. Instead, if you don't have a lot of energy today, so what do you need? Do you need an app? Do you need to go on a walk to energize you, to give you energy? Do you need to change your vocabulary and your language instead of saying, I am tired, I am tired, I am tired, because anything that comes after I am is literal creation. Two most powerful words in the universe are I am. If you say I'm tired, you're going to be tired. So what can you do to honor where you are, but what can you also do to not have it be an excuse? So there's a fine line with radical accountability, but that's what it's about, is taking radical accountability. Most of the problems you're experiencing are arising from battles within you. Okay. Dr. Joe Dispenza says we think 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day. 90% are the same. You think you're programmed? 100%. Your mind, your subconscious is automatically going. 90% of your thoughts today will be the same as they were yesterday on automatic. So when you come and you learn new things and you have new information, in order for that to stick and stay with you, you have to act. You have to do something to reinforce it in your four bodies. So we're going to talk a lot about the four bodies in this mastery program, because it is a mastery program of all four bodies, your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual bodies. Anytime you take a concept or a tool and you apply it to all four of your bodies, you will have true transformation. So if you've ever started something and you feel like it kind of worked, but not all the way, you probably weren't incorporating all four bodies. You probably knew it mentally, okay? And maybe physically, but it just didn't get to like the emotional, the heart space, and it didn't align with like your soul. And we're going to do all of that because I want you to have true transformation and results. So before we go any deeper, I'm going to take you through a practice that we're going to do every single time we hop on this call. And what you can expect is this is going to happen sooner than later in the calls. In fact, we'll start each of our weekly calls with this. So when you're ready, and if you've been here before, you know where we're going. I'm going to ask you to take everything out of your hands and get ready to just find some stillness. And I'm going to walk you through this check-in, okay? And I want you to just be present. Don't have any expectations about getting it right or wrong. Just let this be an experience of observing what's going on, what's happening within you, what's happening in your body. So close your eyes when you feel ready. And if you don't want to close your eyes, that's okay. What I ask you to do is just look down at the floor, or your body is ideal if you can look at your body. Okay. But close your eyes if it feels good. And I want you to just take a big, deep breath in. Big, deep breath. And when you let it go, I just want you to exhale all the old stagnant air from last night. Maybe you still have that in your lungs. And breathe in again. Take the biggest inhale you've had all day. I want you to expand your ribs, expand your lungs. When you exhale, let it go. If you need to yawn or cough or sneeze or anything, release. And your last big, big breath in, I want you to expand your back body, expand your chest, your belly. Breathe into your root and exhale. Let it all go. Drop your shoulders away from your ears. See if you can feel your heart beating in your chest. Become fully aware of the sensations, temperature of the skin. Maybe notice if you're hearing any sounds. Activating your five senses, turning on. Now I want you to do a body scan physically. We're going to start with that first pillar, the physical body. I want you to just notice what's happening in your body. Maybe scan from the top of your head all the way down your neck, your chest, your back, into your belly, into your hips, your legs, your feet. Just do a body scan. And I want you to notice on a scale of 0 to 10. 10 is no pain. You have zero pain. Your body feels amazing. Maybe it's fully energized. And a 0 would be that you're feeling pretty uncomfortable. There's pain. It might be hard to be sitting down right now. Maybe there's some sensation that's sharp or disruptive. But just notice on a scale of 0 to 10, how are you feeling physically? Becoming aware and observing without any judgment, just noticing how you feel physically. Now we're going to move to your mind. I want you to bring all your attention to your mind, your mental pillar of your body. And I want you to notice your thoughts. If you have racing thoughts, it's really hard to stay focused right now. You're thinking about other things. You'd be closer to a 0 on a scale of 0 to 10. And if you have no thoughts, almost like you're just watching clouds pass through your mind, you'd be at a 10. But again, there's no judgment here. You're just noticing. You're the observer of your mind. Where's your mind at? On a scale of 0 to 10, 0 with lots of racing thoughts, hard to pay attention. 10, no thoughts at all. Now bring your attention to your emotional body. Sometimes it's easy to connect to your heart space, but your emotional body, your feelings. And when we connect with our emotions, the intention here is to be feeling a lot. We want to feel. We're really good at shutting off our feelings and emotions, numbing those. So a 10 would be that you're feeling a lot. Because again, there's no judgment here on the feelings. We just want to be feeling humans. So if you're feeling a lot, no matter what those feelings are, there's no good or bad emotions. They just are. 10 would be feeling a lot, and 0 would be not really feeling anything. So just notice on a scale of 0 to 10, how are you feeling emotionally? 0, nothing at all. 10, lots of big emotions. And when you're clear on what that number is, I'm going to invite you to now connect with your spiritual body, your soul. This is the essence of who you really are. Perhaps it's the most quiet of the 4 bodies. So really tune in. See if you can hear your intuition, your inner wisdom. And just notice that a 0 would be that you can't really hear anything, that you feel pretty disconnected. Maybe this is a pillar that you want to explore more. Your spiritual body. A 10 would be that you can hear that intuition. It's pretty active, pretty loud. You could say that a 10 is you're turned on, a 0 is you're turned off to your intuition. But just notice spiritually on a scale of 0 to 10, how connected or disconnected are you from that spiritual, intuitive inner wisdom and voice? We're now going to move to the 5th pillar, which is social. Your social are your relationships, the relationship you have with yourself, the relationship you have with those who live in your home, the relationships you have with those you do business with, friends, family. On a scale of 0 to 10, I want you to notice how disconnected or connected you are socially. A 0 would be that you feel like a recluse. Maybe you're in hibernation. Maybe you feel really disconnected. We are in winter. And a 10 would be you feel very, very connected to these social relationships. You feel really nourished and inspired. Again, just noticing on a scale of 0 to 10, how connected or disconnected are you? in these relationships. 0 disconnected. 10 is the most connected. And when you're ready, I want you to blink open your eyes and immediately grab a pen. And I want you to start writing down. And we'll do this every week. So we're going to take note of it. If you don't have a notebook, I would invite you to just write this on a piece of paper, but then get a notebook or put these papers together in a folder or something like that. We want to track this. So starting physically, and I'll drop this in the notes for you to make it really easy. But how are you feeling physically? On a scale of 0 to 10. How are you feeling mentally? 0 to 10. How are you feeling emotionally? How are you feeling spiritually? That scale of 0 to 10. And then last, socially. So as we go through those pillars again, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and socially, how are you feeling? And here's what we're going to do. Everybody good? Everybody have that down? Okay. Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, socially, 5 pillars that we're going to focus on. On a scale of 0 to 10, I want you to share your win. Your win would be the number that's the highest. Okay, we're going to start off with wins because our brain loves wins. We love wins. Let's celebrate. You can drop it in the chat if you want to, or you can unmute yourself and you can share your win with us.
I'll share. So my win is my emotional, and I'm at a 9.
Nice. I love it. Kristen, share with us what's going on. And emotional is a big one, right? Because you're probably feeling a lot. And those big emotions don't always feel comfortable. So tell us more about emotional for you.
It's kind of interesting because there's like, again, with this balance thing, because as you were talking, like that's what I thought, like, oh, like heavy emotion. I was going towards the heavy or in my brain at first.
Okay.
But in thinking about it, I said, no, I'm feeling emotions of like happiness and
Yeah.
like the big emotions that I'm feeling. Like there are some heavy emotions like, why is that working out? Or how can I
Mm-hmm.
connect to this more, right? In a certain area. But then also, like, the main part is like, wow, I've done a lot. Like, I feel really good. Like, I've had really good conversations with people, like, so it's actually more on the like upbeat, like, I'm just feeling good overall. And those
Yes.
are big emotions. And
Yeah.
what I prefer to feel, right? So,
Thank you for sharing that. I want us to all recognize that the big emotions are emotions that we usually feel really comfortable with if they're happy or joy or excitement. But we can often judge the big emotions as feeling heavy and not good. But what I'm here to teach you and remind you is all emotions need to be felt, because when we don't allow ourselves to feel, we store that in our body. And on a cellular level, our body is holding on to emotion. If you're having trouble losing weight and you're doing all the things, Kate, I'm eating good, I'm exercising, it's emotional. You're holding on to emotional baggage. So why do we practice feeling all the feels and celebrate that? because I want you to let it out. I want you to get rid of it. I want you to process through it. I don't want you to be scared to feel the big, heavy emotions. Feel it. I promise you, when you don't feel it, it lingers longer. And it gets bigger and it gets bigger and it gets bigger. And you've spent a whole day on this thing that's finally boiling over. And then but if you can allow yourself to do these daily check-ins and check in and like, how am I feeling right now? Ooh, I'm feeling a lot. Okay, great. What do you need to do? Do you need to like ask, what is this? Like, what's going on? Why is this feeling so big? Right? Like, what is this? And when you lean into it, you'll move through it faster and you don't carry it and then you don't project it. You're not reactive, you're proactive. So being proactive with your emotions is really, really important. Kristen, thank you for leading us off and sharing that. Anyone else want to share your win?
I will share an insight that I had about
Great.
spirituality. Uh, yeah, spirit. You asked a question about how we felt and how tuned in we were, and I had an immediate number. And then you said, how connected are you to your intuition? And I had a different number.
Mm,
And so I realized that my brain is cataloging activities and daily practices as a part of spirit, but then how I actually feel and am connected and intuitive and in tune as another. And so that's just something for me to play with. And why it came up is because one of my spirituality aspects is being connected with nature, being outside, feeling grounded, getting the sunlight, talking to the trees. And then the other aspect is listening to that inner voice within and trusting what the universe is telling me. So for the nature side, I feel like I'm a 4. But for
mm.
the intuitive side and listening and connecting, I still feel like I'm an 8. So I'm not quite sure what that means to reconcile, but it was interesting to me that my brain somehow disconnected them, which I think is not accurate. I think they're all together, you know?
Yeah. Thank you for sharing this. Zadra, I want to dive into this and let everyone be able to experience and hear this. So when we initially start thinking about spiritual, we think of something outside of ourselves, right? Nature is going to give me that. Going to church is going to give me that. Um, anything, right? Maybe we listen to someone and they're like super inspiring and we're motivated and we're like, gosh, I just feel so good, right? Like I'm so inspired by that. All of those things are outside of you. When we talk about spiritual here in this program, it's within you.
Mm.
It's the intuition, it's the inner voice. We are turning down the volume on everything outside and going within because this is a practice that I'm pretty sure none of us have practiced like this. When I left organized religion, I was still searching and seeking for something to fill that, right? We see it all the time. The pendulum swings. It's like, oh, religious. Well, now what's your new religion, right? Regularly practicing with medicine, plant medicine, psychedelics, too much. Look at it, right? It's like, oh, now I'm over here. Okay. This is a practice to go within. This is like, how do I calm my nervous system on my own? How do I learn how to listen to what my needs are here? It requires being still. It requires practice. It is like a muscle that has not been developed. And at first, it can feel really foreign. It's like, whoa, I don't know. I usually am in nature when I feel this. The goal here is to feel that within yourself, no matter where you are. The goal is to be in the front seat of your car and be able to check in and say, what is my body telling me right now? What is going on in my internal dialogue so that I can answer yes or no to this, or I have the words to speak to this. It's all about going within. So I appreciate you bringing that up because let me go here for a minute. If we're looking at masculine and feminine energy, which we all have, okay? We all have it, masculine, feminine energy. When you look at spirituality, masculine, feminine energy, the masculine spirituality would be nature. The feminine spirituality would be your intuition. Okay? They both matter. We're both. But that safety, that security, that masculine foundation is get in nature. It's where you go, it's what you do. The spirituality, the feminine is the flow, it's intuitive. You don't have to do a lot except for be still and quiet. Does that help?
Mm-hmm. It does.
Okay, great. Love that. Thank you for sharing. Okay. I'm gonna celebrate you all and celebrate your wins. And now what I want you to do is I want you to look at your lowest number. Okay, identify your lowest number. I'm not going to ask you to share, but I want you to know what it is. And I want you to close your eyes for one more time. And I want you to ask yourself, what is one thing I can do in this pillar to move that number up? Just one, just one. What's one thing I need, one thing I can do? One thing. Take your time, make sure you get your answer. When you're ready, you can blink open your eyes and write it down, or you can share it in the chat. But take your time here and really listen. What do you need? What's one thing you can do to increase that number? One thing. Action. Intention. Inspired action. What inspired action can you take? Go for a walk outside, Mary. Absolutely. Sis, put those gloves on, give yourself a scarf, put on your warmest coat and boots, and get out there and go. Your body needs the sun. You need fresh air. This is a big one for wintertime. This is a caveat to really navigate the winter blues. It's real. It's real. Sun, vitamin D matters. So bundle up and go, Mary. Anyone else want to share? What do you need? What are you going to do?
I'll share.
Yes, please.
So I have three that are sixes, and that's my low number, and it's my mental, emotional, and social. And so as we were beginning, I just wrote down my self-care choices that we came up with, and so I'm gonna do those. I'm going to meditate for 5 minutes, do creative visualization for my mental. I'm going to journal my big emotions and for my emotional. And then for my social, I am meeting some friends today to play. So that will fill that.
Perfect. I love it. All of you have, well, most of you have your blueprint. This is where, when you check that lowest number, you can look at that and say, okay, so what did I tell myself I was going to do every day in this pillar? And do it. And then do the check-in again and see how you feel. You can do this check-in over and over and over again. One of my favorite times of day to do it is between 2 and 4 in the afternoon. My mental space between 2 and 4 is insane. It's low, always. I've got input all day. And by 2 or 3 o'clock, this brain is like, ooh, going. So I usually can just close my eyes for a minute and check in and say, where am I mentally? And within seconds, I know. And for me, in the afternoon, it's really great for me to do transcendental meditation because I'm repeating a mantra, the same mantra over and over and over and over. And it just gets my mind to calm down. And it's like hitting a reset. How many of you struggle between 2 and 4 in the afternoon with the most unhealthy choices of food, snacks, whatever behavior? Anybody? 2 to 4 p.m., worst time of day. Here's why. because what we actually really need is a reset. And if you're going to grab the thing that you know you didn't want to grab at 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. when you woke up, it is because you are probably tired, either mentally, physically, or emotionally. When we are tired, our brain is like trying to just like shut down. And when you go to eat something, what happens? Everything goes to your stomach for digestion and it slows down. Actually really don't need the thing that you're going to grab outside of you. You just need to sit still and just let your mind slow down, let your body relax. I promise you, if you'll do that instead of going and grabbing that thing that is your vice that you hate when you do, just try it. Try to just sit there for a minute and breathe 3 breaths in, out, in, out. Feel calm in the moment, and then just see if that helps. There's some little tricks and things I'm going to continue to teach you as we go, but I want to remind you that choosing you is not selfish, it's necessary. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You will be a better parent. You will be more engaged, more present in the moment. You will make better decisions. And you will stop running around busy, 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 just to be busy. Your nervous system will calm down and you will be sharper. Your mind will think more clearly. And you will be more productive doing less when you fill your cup first. So I invite you to choose you and make yourself a priority. Before we go, I want to remind you that part of this radical accountability piece is making a commitment and removing all excuses that are preventing you from taking time to invest in yourself. The excuses will come, I promise you. I know it's top of the hour, you're getting ready, you're like, okay, I'm already thinking about my next thing, what's happening next. Like, invest in you. If you haven't already, take the next 5 minutes and do one thing in your daily self mastery blueprint. One thing. Give yourself 5 minutes to do one thing. Increase your energy. Give yourself a win. Allow yourself to be in the practice of this mastery program. We are now fully launched. We're here. It's day 1. What you've done up until today doesn't really matter. It's the past. Today is your day. Commit to yourself. Make your self-care, your self-mastery blueprint a priority. Set alarms in your phone. It's one of the greatest ways to just stop and remind you, oh yeah. I had one of my life coaches told me once, he said, if it's not in your calendar, it's not a priority. I literally put in my calendar dates with my kids. I put everything in my calendar. If it's not on my calendar, it may or may not happen. But if it's a priority and it's on your calendar, put your physical self-care as an alarm on your calendar. Make it a priority. And if you're not sure if you're going to do it in the morning or night, set 2 alarms. And when that night one goes off, you're like, already done it. I'm winning. And if that night one goes off and you haven't yet, you're like, thank you, past self, for setting my future self up with a reminder, because I'm going to do that right now. This is about you and you. This mastery program is about you and you. The only one who's going to know if you actually do this and show up for yourself is you. And the price that you pay, I'm going to repeat this, the price that you pay for being out of integrity with yourself is the thing that's keeping you stuck. It's the thing that's keeping you in guilt. It's the thing that's keeping you in a shame cycle because you did not keep your commitment to yourself. Be in integrity. Keep the commitment to yourself. If you're having a hard time, let's have a conversation. Let's tweak it. I want you to win. I want you to show up for yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and socially every single day and create wins for yourself, because those wins will have a ripple effect in every area of your life, with your relationship with yourself, your relationship with your partner, your relationship with your kids, your relationship with the people that you do business with. Everything will get better in your life when you choose to show up for you first. So you first. Choose you first. It's not selfish. It's necessary. You can't pour from an empty cup. You are the priority. Make you a priority. If you don't invest in yourself, you will pay for it later. So don't put off today what you think you can do tomorrow. Just make yourself a priority. And a bonus to this, invite anyone who lives in your home to go on this journey with you. Invite them. Hey, I started this mastery program. I'm doing this thing. I want you to do it with me. If you have kids, let them choose one thing. Let them just choose one of the 5 pillars. Let them choose one thing they're going to do every day with you. Have it be a ritual. Create an opportunity for the whole family to do it. How cool is that, to teach your kids and your loved ones in your house and who you're with how to do the thing that it took us 40 years to figure out? Literally. Literally. Why not just have it be, this is what we do? It's a practice. We do it every day. My intention for you is to master all of these things in your life so that it becomes part of who you are, what you do. When it's over, it's not over. It's just you continuing to do what you've committed to for yourself. Make yourself a priority. Thank you for being here. So excited for the next 12 weeks for us together. Take the opportunity, log in, get in the portal. If you need some support, message Bobby back at hello@mystrongworld.com. She will support you and help you get logged into that portal. If I have not done your blueprint with you yet, let's get you on my calendar so we can get that lined up and dialed in. And I'll see you next week. Bye, everyone.